Welcome, dear all, to twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. This is Stammer Stream, manga podcast, and speech therapy combined. I'm your stammering host, Wensleydale Cheddar, here alongside your non-stammering host, Grail9. We are here with the review of March the 19th edition of Shonen Jump, along with our very special guest, Lumranmayasha from our eternal manga podcasting rivals, the Manga Mavericks. Are you ready to have the most ambitious crossover in history, guys?
Yes, let's begin it. Let's start the MPU, the Manga Podcast Universe.
That meme was dead before it ever started.
But hey, it's not like The Walking Dead after all, because I came back.
Indeed, it is not.
Instead, it's like Dragon Ball Z. I'm like Frieza. You can't get rid of me. Even when I'm gone, you're going to have to keep bringing me back and back.
You can't get rid of anyone. No matter how you kill him and say, we can't bring him back this time, there's always some special Dragon Ball somewhere that can do it anyway.
And even if you can't bring me back, the next villain is going to be exactly like me.
So does this mean that next time you're going to come back in a very tacky purple and gold form?
Well, first I'm going to come back as a cyborg, and then I'm gonna come back in hell in filler, and then years later down the line, during a revival of Stammer Stream, during a very special Stammer Stream movie, I will come back with a golden form. Actually, I'll come back with a rainbow-haired form, just like Lum, the original from Urusei Yatsura, has in the manga version.
By the way, have you guys noticed that my lip movements don't seem to match my voice? Well, it's mostly that I had some audio issues and I had to re-record most of my lines, which is why this episode of the stream is going to be in 2 parts. Don't worry though, I will try to recreate most of my lines through what I remember. Undoubtedly, the mismatch between our dialogues is going to be hilarious. So yeah, the most ambitious crossover in history, even though this is going to be basically a normal episode just with Sid on it. But that's exciting too! Are you guys excited for Infinity War, by the way? I've seen a lot of cynicism grow in strength in response to cinematic universes lately, but I prefer serialized stories in the first place, so I never really could feel a lot of soul towards the MCU.
Hell yeah. Marvel's have yet to make a single bad movie, I'd say. I mean, some of them have been average or not as good as others, but none of them have been really bad. So as I was saying, Marvel was kind of the pioneer in the cinematic universe, and everyone just tried to ape them without getting the subtleties of it. Like the fact that you don't start building a cinematic universe from the first movie. You gotta actually make a good movie first.
Yeah, I like all the crossovers between characters and the continuity. I like that it really feels like a shared universe, and you can expect that, hey, these other characters are here and they can get involved in this thing. It's not like isolated incidents, like everyone is aware of what's happening in this world.
Then again, they often have to just like, why can't we just call the Avengers on this stuff?
Well, it's pretty clear that the Avengers are all dealing with their own things every once in a while, so they can't like all get it assembled for everything.
They do make like good, like with Spider-Man, he's just dealing with small scale stuff, so they're not bothering.
Yeah, that's why I liked Spider-Man and Black Panther so much. It really felt like, it was very personal, those stories. Like, I mean, in Black Panther, Killmonger was like trying to start like an international like war and stuff, but it was still pretty personal in terms of like what T'Challa was going through and what was going on in Wakanda. So I really like that.
Well, speaking of a shit ton of characters colliding together in one story to produce an epic climax, shall we talk about One Piece, chapter 898?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Not too far from the 1900 now.
Yes, only 2 chapters, only 2 weeks. That's going to be pretty exciting. I know Oda probably has something big planned for 900. Probably the big getaway from Big Mom.
Would be nice since this getaway's been going for a while now.
Yeah, I feel like they've been on the run for 20 chapters.
So, guys, when do we finally see Big Mom eat that bloody cake? Next chapter or chapter 900? Place your bets.
I hope
I'd say
so.
chapter 1000, 900. Yeah, not quite that long.
We have 102 more chapters of them escaping Whole Cake Island, guys. We thought we
No,
were
like
at
they're
the
gonna just
end,
move to
but
Zoe while they're still they still got Big Mom on their tail.
oh, Paige is gonna keep carrying that cake for 100 chapters. Like even when the Straw Hearts and Rano, they're gonna still be carrying that cake.
Yeah, and then we're gonna have an epic clash between Big Mom and Kaido.
I mean, that'd be pretty funny if they lead them to Kaido with the cake.
So this has been more of a transitionary chapter with two basic plot points. One, the Charlotte siblings learn about Katakuri's defeat. Two, Sanji returning to the Sunny.
Well, I would say the former is pretty impressive, like seeing how badly she reacts, crying her eyes out, and everyone just shocked to learn that Katakuri got kicked, his ass kicked.
Yeah, I mean, I love how the Big Mom family really feels like a family, and like, they're not completely nice to each other. They're pretty cruel to each other, but at the same time, they have like this familial pride. So when they hear that Katakuri has been defeated, they are like totally shocked. And it's like, whoa, how could he defeat our beloved brother like that? I really like that. I really like camaraderie in villain groups. So this was like one of two moments in Jump this week where we had that real sense of camaraderie and that sense of mourning from the villain group. And I really like seeing that kind of thing.
I guess the most pressing question is going to be how the Charlotte siblings are going to react to Katakuri when the initial shock subsides. I guess the most obvious turn of events would be a fall from grace. But the thing is, we have seen some very different kinds of relationships in this family. Flambe is another kettle of fish, and we have talked about her a few times on this show. But apart from her and Pudding's bullies, all of these siblings do seem to care about each other, even when they fail the crew. Overall, I think the most interesting result would be if some of them gave their support to Katakuri, while establishing a more equal relationship with him, where they wouldn't put him on such a pedestal like they used to.
I think that'll be interesting. I mean, I definitely think that now that they know Katakuri's infallible, that reputation is going to diminish. But I don't think that they're going to outright reject Katakuri. If Brule can still be like accepted in this family, despite the Straws having used her twice now for their own purposes, I think that they can be forgiving of Katakuri. I mean, of course, we have this whole thing with Flambe and whether she'll reveal what Katakuri really looks like and stuff, and how the family will react then. But I feel like at large, I don't think like the really heavy players in the Big Mom family are going to really care about Katakuri's true face that much. I think, if anything, because the Straw Hats are going to get away here and they're all going to be kind of united in the sense of shame that they'll have for letting them get away, there won't be a whole lot of individual blame passed around, and they'll all have a unified like enemy in the Straw Hats to go after and resent.
Yeah, this is gonna be a big revenge just to reclaim their pride that these fuckers got away from us. We gotta go there and hunt them down. And that's also something I wonder, like, I'm not sure the German 66 would really care about Sanji at this point, but are they just doing it just to say, like, yeah, we let your target get away, just so you have to bear the shame. Fuck you.
I think that is what the Germans' motivation are, at least all the siblings besides Reiju. Because they even say that they're really in it just to get revenge for themselves because they set them up. And I think that was very good use of Germa. Because I think the Germa have turned around on Sanji after how horribly they treated him, and after it's been established that they are unfeeling robotic monsters with no concern for even their own lives. So I think it was
Except when they
very
do have feelings.
appropriate that they came in here to help Sanji just to stick it to Germa, just to put up a middle finger to Germa. It's not really about helping Sanji. It's really about
Stick it to Big Mom.
shaming Germa. Mm-hmm.
I guess this can be more of a phrasing issue than anything else. The intention was probably that the Germa are like Flowey from Undertale. They do have an emotion, they are capable of being arrogant dickbags, but they aren't able to feel compassion.
So rather than their feelings being suppressed, it was their empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way I would totally see it.
Yeah, because obviously they have some like emotion in the sense that, they can get angry and they're spiteful and stuff. But when they were being gunned down by Germa at the wedding, like none of the siblings really cared. They were like, "Oh, well, that's how it goes, I guess." Ha ha ha. So they really don't have any sense of compassion or empathy or like really even a sense of self-preservation. Like they don't really care much about life, even their own. So they are kind of unemotional, or at least they definitely have a lot of inhuman elements to them that is kind of disturbing. But at least in this chapter, that ends up playing off to the Straw Hats' benefit, and it made for some pretty cool moments where basically each member of the Germa siblings got to have like their own 2 pages to, shine as they help Sanji get back to the boat. And I thought, yeah, that was pretty cool. I
However-
still think these guys are pretty abhorrent. They're pretty evil dudes. I won't like them ever, but they ended up helping out the Straw Hats here in a pretty satisfying way, I thought.
However, there is one problem I had with this sequence. This is supposed to be like the impenetrable network. Like, even when Peckham's was it Die Long? Anyway, their Super Saiyan form, he was suppressed almost immediately by them, despite us seeing how much shit that can wreck even for a more inexperienced fighter. But now Germa just does it with relatively little effort.
Well, I think Peckham's didn't get to transform into the Sulong. I mean, he was starting to, but he didn't fully transform. They got him before he was able to.
Well, yeah, mostly because they gouge his eyes out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, poor Peckham's. I hope his eyes aren't, destroyed. That would be pretty dark. I think that's about it for me in terms of One Piece. I do find it still kind of weird that with the Harujin like kind of cover story that they're doing, it's just showing off who his crewmates are. When in the previous like Straw Hat Fleet cover page stories, like it was like an actual story showing what they were doing. So I think it's kind of weird that he's just using the cover pages now just to show off who Harujin's crewmates are, but it works, I guess. I guess we need to know who these guys are.
Just showing character design still beats Idio's cover arc.
Yeah.
Then again,
It gets
Idio
better
was
to have
never
this than
interesting,
something
so...
like that.
Anyway, should we move on?
Yes, let's move on to Food Wars, chapter 255. And it seems like fate, doesn't it? Because last time we had Sid on, it also was a Rindo match, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It was Rindo versus Takumi. Though this chapter, I mean, it is about Rindo, but I think a lot of it is also the first half is mostly Tsukasa focused, so it's kind of a weird transition to go from like the Tsukasa focused flashback to Rindo showing off her dish.
So, what did you guys think about the flashback? I thought it was a good way of showing how well Tsukasa and Azami understand each other as two idealists who don't even realize they are being selfish.
Yeah, I would say more like Azami's being manipulative rather than idealistic. Like, he's just saying what Tsukasa wants to hear.
Yeah, I think Azami himself believes this, that only people who really understand what true gourmet is should be able to enjoy that kind of cuisine.
But then
I
again,
think
his plan is also to make all gourmet, all cuisine that kind of gourmet. So is he just saying like, yeah, everyone who doesn't understand it can starve?
well, I think he's like yeah, I mean he wants to make it so that all restaurants, all food prepared by chefs is just served to gourmets and then everyone else I guess will make their own food. I don't think he's saying like everyone in the world is going to starve, but he thinks that cooking in a professional artistic capacity should only be done for people who can truly appreciate it. And it's wasted on the people who don't have a refined taste. So he's very elitist, and his plan is very immature. I think that's one thing that I've noticed about Azami is that he's actually extremely immature, despite being such a creepy and successful dude. And like his whole plan is based on pettiness and resentment for the stuff that went on with Joichiro back in his school days. So it's definitely misguided. It's kind of going to be interesting to see like how his eyes are going to be opened in terms of like realizing that he's been wrong, and that's a very narrow-headed way of thinking. I think that this flashback definitely succeeds in making Tsukasa more compelling. Because earlier, I even though he had a funny personality and he did have like this jerkish personality that he displayed in his match with Soma, that he set up a good rivalry. I didn't really understand a deeper sense of why he was allied with Azami, but now I think I can get it. I think I can grasp onto why he would feel that way. Like his unease and disappointment that he's making these meals that he spent a lot of time preparing, but no matter what effort he puts into it, like the feedback is all monotone, all the same, because most of the people he's serving this food to don't really understand the nuances of what he's doing. So even when he intentionally makes a bad meal, like no one is calling him out on it. They're just being yes men and saying, "Oh, this is great. Oh, this is great," because he's an elite chef. Of course, his food is going to be great. But Azami tells him like it is, and that is what Tsukasa appreciates, and he wants his cooking to be appreciated by other people who really understand cooking, and I think that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, before we just got the sense that it's what's best for him, so he doesn't really care one way or the other. But now we see that there is some idealism into his joining the Central.
Mm-hmm. It's still very selfish, but it's coming from a place where of more emotional vulnerability that I can grasp onto a little more, and I think that makes him a more rounded character.
Yeah, the usual zone of I don't agree with you, but I understand you.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on to the Shokugeki itself, we are surprisingly breezing through this like through the other matches. I thought at least for the final match we could dedicate a bit more time. For now, I can't really feel a lot of weight to this chapter, or to this match in general.
Yeah, as
Yeah,
you'd
I
expect
feel
from the
like
final battle.
Rindo presenting her dish, both Rindo and Tsukasa presenting dish, should have more impact than it really comes across. I
Yeah,
think
like
it happens really quickly, and I think it's a misstep to have Rindo presenting her dish in a chapter that is otherwise focused on Tsukasa. I would have liked to have maybe the Rindo flashback come first before we get her dish, or at least a longer explanation of her dish, of her cooking process, of people evaluating it and how that relates to her personality. Here, I feel it's, she presents her dish and then we're out of that. And the next week, we're going to get Tsukas's dish. I feel like Rindo is really getting the shaft here. And that's kind of unfortunate because, she is the second most important antagonist in this match right now.
well, second most important out of two, so
I mean, true, but she and Tsukasa are the final two of the Elite Ten. They're the top two. I think that Rindo has gotten a lot of buildup over the course of the series, and I feel like, at the end in this match, she should be given like a lot of time, to really shine and really feel like, okay, both of these guys are big deals that they're going to have to really outdo in order to win this.
I don't actually remember what I said here. Huh. Alright then, I'm gonna sing. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I'll sleep all night and I work all day. He's a lumberjack and he's okay. He sleeps all night and he works all day. I cut down trees, I eat my lunch, I go to the lavatory. On Wednesdays I go shopping and I sing out of key.
For me, it's all going to come down to Erina's dish and the execution of that, because that has been the most compelling aspect of the arc as it began right back when Azami was introduced, was like Erina's personal conflict during this whole thing. So I really want to see like when when Erina presents her dish to Azami, like that have a really fantastic payoff, and that'll be worth it to me. But overall, there's been a lot of disappointing elements in these matches with the Elite 10, and I think it's a real shame that they are breezing through this so quickly.
Yeah, at the start it was much better paced. Maybe a little slow, but also gave every match some weight. Maybe it's
Yeah.
the problem that they decided to have so many Shokugeki in a row that it starts to get tiring for some, so they gotta hurry it up.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing this for a year, these matches with the Elite 10, so
Has it been a
I,
year?
yeah, really a year. I mean, it
Wow,
started basically last spring, so
I didn't even realize that.
yeah, it's been a
As a
long
yeah,
time.
as a final note, what's your take on the weird fan service this time?
It's not that fan servicey a chapter. I mean, it's super creepy. That one judge is being taken away by Azami dressed as an ant.
Is that a
I
zombie? Doesn't look
I
like a
think
zombie.
I think it's supposed to be Azami. It's a similar face.
Yeah, but
At the
I just
very least,
feel like the face isn't quite a zombie. It's a bit wider. I mean, it's hard to
it
tell
does
since we
look a
only
little
see
off.
the face, but I never saw that as a zombie.
I think the idea is supposed to be Azami because there's this weird there's definitely a weird sexual undercurrent to the image that is really disturbing when you think of the implications, because like the ant is taking the butterfly away to eat it, and so I get a very uncomfortable kind of rapey vibe from the
I'm more
image.
worried, like, did Rindo use human flesh in her cooking?
uh, I hope not. I hope it's just the ants.
And the seagulls poke at my face. I said, seagulls, stop it now.
Yeah, maybe it's just roleplay for them. It's totally consensual on all sides.
Yeah, I guess if
Maybe it's just like, I saw this weird vision when eating last night. Let's try that one.
yeah,
What
I
the
mean,
hell do we lace our foods with?
they're really committed to cosplay and these weird analogies to food in the animal kingdom, I guess. I guess.
But yeah, that's all for Food Wars and One Piece this week, so see you in part 2 where my mic actually works. Cheerio!